Stiamo affrontando l'incendio della Spagna più grande di tutti i tempi. Stiamo vivendo il cammino nel luogo peggiore di tutta Europa. Ogni piano è saltato e questa mattina siamo stati costretti a prendere un taxi per spostarci in Galizia, dove l'aria è un po' più sana. Perlomeno c'è meno fumo. Il mio gruppo è stato l'ultimo a lasciare l'alberghe e ci siamo quindi concessi un po' di tempo per andare prima a fare colazione, cercando di non pensare agli ostacoli sulla strada e che potremo incontrare di nuovo più avanti, sperando però che tutto si risolva a breve. Il taxi si è presentato prima dell'orario concordato e siamo stati costretti a correre in fretta e furia per evitare che se ne andasse senza di noi. Con il fiatone, risalendo le ripide salite di Villafranca del Bierzo, io e Fran abbiamo smezzato il peso dello zaino di Michele, che era andato a chiedere informazioni per un pullman verso Lugo. Voleva allontanarsi per qualche giorno da noi, non potendo camminare troppo per un dolore al ginocchio, per poi rivederci sull'ultimo tratto prima di Santiago, ma non c'era più posto per lui e quindi è rimasto in famiglia un giorno in più. In mezz'ora di strada abbiamo saltato 2 tappe intere, arrivando a Compostela ed evitando il tratto più difficile di tutto il cammino. È un bel peccato e pensare che ci avremmo messo 2 giorni per fare questa stessa distanza. Così dov'è la soddisfazione? Solo Joseba poteva fare queste 2 tratte, 50 km, in un solo giorno. Joseba, una leggenda. I admit, though, that we all deserved a day off. We spent the afternoon with our feet in the river, confusing snails stuck to a rock for small magnets and trying to skip flat stones across the water. In the evening, we joined the Pilgrims Festival, a local summer party, dining for free on a nice plate of grilled meat and a glass of red wine, dancing to the rhythm of some rather poor Spanish music. It was an incredible day. We remained united like a real family, but now we just hope for the best and that our group doesn't fall apart so close to the end. Although I think, given how things went today, that's unlikely to happen. Non ho mai vissuto un viaggio con così tanta tranquillità. Non ho orari da rispettare, mete ufficiali da raggiungere, nessuna lista da completare. Non c'è fretta, non c'è pressione, non so nemmeno cosa mi aspetta per la giornata stessa e mi sto abituando a questo stile di vita così diverso dal mio, accettando anche gli imprevisti e smettendo di fare piani. We skipped about 40 kilometers, and since we could choose which road to take today, we took the longer one, which is the original path. Every day we are faced with choices, but in every context, shortcuts never really lead to the destination. Perhaps because the true meaning of a journey is not in reaching goals or by crossing places off a map, as Santiago is in this case, but its value is found along the way, and here, along the Cammino, because the true destination is within us. Jean and I shared thoughts about our superpowers, topics we would like to keep secret, at least for now. Immersed in the greenest and most lush nature and supported by its energy, we crossed a completely new, wilder landscape, with the mesetas now just a distant memory, and finally seeing the sky above our heads again. No more smoke, no more ash floating in the air, even though fires continue to rage throughout Spain. Tra paesini abbandonati e piccoli torrenti, siamo stati immersi nella tranquillità del verde per tutto il sentiero. Misha, Jewel e Rossi ci hanno raggiunto verso l'ora di pranzo, seguiti poi solo più tardi anche da Will e Fran. Michele invece si è spostato finalmente con il bus e lo rivedremo solamente tra qualche giorno. Una boccata d'aria fresca, dopo tanto fumo nei polmoni, ci voleva proprio e mi è sembrato di essere tornato a casa camminando per i sentieri delle mie montagne lecchesi. E dopo una lunga pausa nella cittadella di Samos ci siamo spostati verso Sarria con una calma e una spensieratezza a cui mai avrei pensato di potermici affezionare. I am really learning to slow down, although on the last stages before Santiago this is not really an advantage. Once you pass Sarria, you enter a stream of what we jokingly call false pilgrims, who come here on the Cammino to earn their Compostela by walking only the last 100 kilometers. We miss the tranquility and authenticity of the mesetas. Despite the large number of people, I decided to keep pace with the group again today, setting off first, but somehow always ending up among the last to arrive. The Cammino in Galicia is full of vegetation, and with clouds covering the sky and humidity clinging to my skin, it felt like I was walking through the humid landscape of Tenerife. On this journey, I am relieving emotion that I have only felt there, and indeed, there is definitely something more. These are completely new emotions that I still find difficult to comprehend, because every day is a novelty, and I cannot make sense of it, but it's a pleasant feeling, and I am surrendering myself to this energy that makes me vibrate. A bit annoyed by the presence of too many pilgrims, I spent most of my time with the guys from Taiwan. Even though we exchange few words, I feel comfortable with them. They bring me joy. They laugh a lot and always have a smile on their faces. They are a trio that works well, an explosion of color when they are together. Like a starlit night full of stars painted gold and turquoise. Un passo dopo l'altro, siamo quindi arrivati al cippo degli ultimi 100 km e ora è arrivato il momento. Possiamo finalmente, o forse purtroppo, iniziare il countdown. 19 kilometers, we are practically there. These are the last efforts before the end of a unique adventure that will leave its mark in ways I could never have imagined. New friends from all over the world, new emotions I've never felt before, a richly colorful mix. 80 kilometers. The Cammino family is becoming increasingly close-knit. Every morning, you never know who you will have the pleasure of sharing the road with, but each person, in their own way, is an excellent companion for adventures and discussions. I am becoming very fond of Jane, and she will be the one I miss the most, I think. We have always had deep conversations, and there is a certain complicity between us. I feel good when I'm with her. I feel at ease. She is a woman I admire greatly. 70 kilometers. We talk about love, the future, and change. We are not ashamed to ask even slightly awkward questions. In fact, we laugh about them. The Cammino changes you, it restores your balance, and I am a little apprehensive about returning home. I don't know if I will be able to bear the return to the usual routine and the great silence inside the house. 60 kilometers. The morning begins with cake tasting, giving us the energy we need to face the horde of people who will be chasing us shortly after sunrise. There are many of them, moving in a pack, carrying less weight on their shoulders and with stronger legs. 50 kilometers. They are getting closer and closer, but we find the strength to break away from them. The group is increasingly united. We are all connected by an invisible thread. After spending most of the morning with Andres, I feel the need to ride a few kilometers alone, and I increase my speed a little. I have decided to change my schedule and continue with those who are staying on until Finisterre or even Murcia. Why not? 40 kilometers. I am welcomed in Ribadiso with warm enthusiasm by a group of Argentinians who don't even know who I am, but shout my name. We have survived the false pilgrims who are moving on to Arzois. We stop here for the night, and we are now just a stone throw from our destination. 30 kilometers. I am amazed by the transformation I am undergoing. I set off with the idea that I would spend most of my time alone, of my own volition, and now I find myself at the end of the journey always looking for someone to walk with. There are those who use the Cammino as an opportunity to take time for themselves, but having already had more than enough of that, I have discovered here that, despite being a solitary soul, I too have a need to share, to the point that I wish this journey would never end. 25 kilometers. I find myself unintentionally reaching my destination alone, and I spend most of my time thinking about how to plan the last few days after my birthday in Santiago. The situation was resolved in the afternoon. I will go by bus with Jane and Michele to Finisterre for 2 days, then walk to meet the others in Murcia or Mangashu for friends, and thus conclude the Cammino with them. A perfect fit, so I don't have to say goodbye to anyone too soon. 20 kilometers. Michele joined the group in El Pedroso because tomorrow is the big day. We are ready to reach the finish line, even if emotionally, perhaps, we are not so ready.
We did the entire Cammino.